Down 29, down 16, down 15, different games, same finals, 2 double-digit holds. Well, more than 2. Oh my gosh, 5 double-digit holds. But here's what got them out of the hole every time. This isn't a story about basketball. Bam! It's a story about which voice was loud enough to hear when everything was falling apart. Welcome to MiNDSHiFT Monday, where we don't just talk motivation, we train perspective. I'm Robert Kennedy III, RK3. That's me. And today's show is for the leaders, the advisors, the agents, the entrepreneurs who've gotten really good at managing how they sound to other people, but have not audited what they're saying to themselves. Oh yeah, I love it. Let's jump in. What's going on? Twyla Grigsby, so good to see you. Patsy Irish, 159, so good to see you. Maga Larwa, so good to see you. Lorenda Jones, so glad that you are here. Listen, everybody, you want to know when we're going live? Text live to 240-557-8679. Yes, 240-557-8679. Text live, and I'll send you the note. I'll send you the message. Hang out with us on the after show. Go to MiNDSHiFTMonday.com/Zoom. This is where we get personal. This is where we do accountability. We talk about it. We get deep. We get hyper. Yes. Yes. So gonna get rocking and rolling. Cherry Bella Collection. So glad you're here. TL Speaks. Good to see you. Oh yeah. What happens when you're down? Can you still win? Why do you win? What's the voice that causes you to win? Oh, well, we're going to talk about it today. Let's do it. Here we go. Bam! What's up? What's up this morning? Hey, how y'all doing? Lorenda Jones says, send me the link for the Zoom. It is MiNDSHiFTMonday.com/Zoom. You should be able to get in that way. All right. Hey, y'all, listen, we spend so much energy managing the words that come out of our mouths, but we miss something else. Before we go further, do me a favor, drop one word in the chat. Drop one word in the chat. When things go wrong, what word comes up for you most consistently? Come on. What word comes up for you most consistently when something goes wrong? Give me one word that captures it. Is that word excited? Is that word faithful? Is that word discouraged? Is that word challenged? What's your word? What's when things go wrong? When things go wrong, come on, be real. Be honest. What's your word that comes up most consistently? Yeah. Is it thank you? Well, that's not one word. Yeah, Coach AD says why. That's real. Okay, I'll add another word that some people talk about. They say, why me? Why me? Why is this happening to me? Twyla's like, really? Really? When things go wrong, what's your one word that comes up? OMG, I see somebody saying, well, that's not it's a word, but I'll give it to you. What's your word when things go wrong? What comes up? Okay, says TL Speaks. I like it. Help, says Lorenda. Yeah. Well, listen, today, we're talking about what happens when things go wrong and what do you do in that moment? How do you make that comeback in that moment? If you haven't guessed it yet, y'all, I'm a Knicks fan. Bam! Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm a Knicks fan, y'all. Yeah. So here's the thing, man. It's been 53 years since the New York Knicks won a championship. That is, yeah, that's a long time. That's a really long time. That's a really long time. And so New York City right now is just in this space of euphoria. Euphoria. If you have grown up in New York City, you know what I'm talking about. For the rest of you who have not grown up there, you don't know what I'm talking about just yet, but you will in a few days. It's all over the TV. It's all over the stuff. So here's why. Here's why. Listen, last season, the New York Knicks, coached by Tom Thibodeau, made it to the conference finals. And for those of you who are not basketball fans, you play the entire 82-game season. You go through the first round, and then there is a second round. And after that second round is a third round, which is the conference finals. And after you win that third round, then you get to go into the NBA finals. So last season, the Knicks were one step away from the NBA finals. They lost in the conference finals. And here's what they did as a result of losing. They fired their coach. They fired their coach, right? And here's why they fired their coach. Here's the reason for that. He leaned on 6 or 7 guys, right? Their coach leaned on 6 or 7 guys, and he was known as a stubborn coach, ran them into the ground, didn't trust the bench. And that wasn't just a rotational problem, because he certainly had players. These are the NBA players, right? If you make it to the NBA, you've got a certain skill set. His internal belief was that I can only trust a few people. Right now, I'm assigning that to him. I can't say that for sure, but what it looked like on the outside was he wanted to condition his best players and only trust a few players. Everybody else was a risk at breaking the rhythm. Right? So he got fired, and they hired a new coach, Mike Brown. Now, yep, Coach AD says he overplayed his guys. Yeah. C. Marie says they're losing their blasted mind. Yeah, New Yorkers are losing their mind. It was great. It was almost awesome. Awesome. Let me do that graphic again. Bam. There we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, listen. So this season, they got a new coach. And the season started fine. Good. Not great. They had some moments in the season where they played well, and other moments where they lost quite a few games in a row. And there was nothing that said championship. There was, if you were watching this season, you thought they had a good shot at making the playoffs. You thought that they were going to be okay in the playoffs, but there was nothing that said championship. But then round one happened, right? They started to play a series against Atlanta, and they won the first game. But then they lost the next 2 games, both by 1 point. They lost 2 games, games 2 and game 3, one at home and one on the road. They lost both of them by 1 point. And that's when the coach, Mike Brown, made a change that had nothing really to do with talent, because he's got a talented point guard. Instead of running everything through the point guard, he decided that he was going to run it through the center and let him facilitate it. Right? He trusted the center with doing more, with passing, with directing the offense. And that one shift, I want y'all to get this, that one shift in who the team trusted, right, and how they operated together, allowed them to win the next 13 playoff games in a row. They won the next 13 games in a row. They swept the next two teams. They won the next three games in the series that they were in against Atlanta, and then they swept Detroit. They swept Cleveland. Some of those games they won by more than 40 points. Now, if you follow sports or if you follow basketball, that is a huge blowout. Emma Road, how you doing this morning? Kendrick U. Dodd, so good to see you on Instagram. E4 Productions, glad you're here. Farrar Thomas, oh yeah. Miss Tanya A, so glad that you're here. Cherry Bella, Dalton Beckles, so glad that y'all are here. Regina Howard Norman, 1303, good to see you. Coach A.D., yeah, C. Marie, all of y'all are here. So glad that y'all are here. Yeah, so they blew out some teams by more than 40 points, okay? And then the finals happened. And this is the part that's almost hard to believe. They won game one. They were down double digits in the first quarter. Came back, won game one. All right? Game two, down double digits in the first quarter. In San Antonio, away. Came back and won game two. In game three, they lost at home. They were down double digits in the first quarter again, and they lost at home by 4 points. All right? Now, game four happens. And they're at home again. And at home, they are down in the third quarter 29 points. Now, as a fan, here's what happens as when you're a fan. You have some thoughts. Thoughts go through your brain. You begin to wonder, you begin to think about whether your team is going to win this game or not. If your team is down by 10 points, you're like, okay, yeah, it's close enough. But if they're down by almost 30 points, you begin to get some thoughts in your brain about what they're going to do, whether they'll win this game or not, and you start to console yourself. We were up we won 2 games, so there'll be 2-2. It's still, we still have a good shot at this. It'll be a 7-game series. How many of you have moments where you're down or things don't seem good and you start to wonder what's going on? You some of the words that y'all said at the beginning, why? Some of you start to say, OMG. Some of you start to say, why me? Some of you start to say, really? Right? So down 29 in the third quarter, and some of y'all are saying, really? Can you imagine what some people might be saying? Might have been saying to themselves, if I was in that game, down 29 in the third quarter, honestly, I might have said, oh my gosh, this is a really big lead. I don't know how we're going to do this. But here's what happened. They came back from a 29-point deficit, the largest deficit ever in a finals game where a team came back and won. They came back to win on a miracle tip-in. Yeah. Then they go on the road to San Antonio, Texas, and in the first quarter, again, they are down by double digits. At some point in the second quarter, they're down by 16 points. By halftime, they were down by 5 points. And then they went back down by like 10 or 12 points in the third quarter. But then they came back to win by 4 points. Game 5. Woo! Championship. Now here's the thing. They're down by double digits in the first quarter in every single game. That's not, and then they win. That's not 5 lucky bounces. That's a team that had something running on a loop, loud enough to hear over the panic of everybody else. What struck me was as I watched the players, there was for them a sense of calm every game. There was a sense of calm every game. And I listened carefully to what they were saying. And here's why I listened to what they were saying, because you often get a sense of what will happen next, or the mindset of people based on what comes out of their mouths. And so after game 4, when OG Anunoby had tipped in the ball, a reporter asked, how did they stay in the mindset of coming back? And he said, one of the things that they said in the huddle, one of the things that they kept saying was, basketball is a game of runs, and our run is coming. Right? Basketball is a game of runs. Our run is coming. And that wasn't the only thing that they kept saying to themselves. What they said, when they're down by double digits, when they're down by 29, they kept saying to each other, hey, we don't have to take this all back at once. Chip away at the lead little by little. Opal Plummer Barnes, Jeff Davis, good to see y'all this morning. Marjorie Benjamin, good to see you this morning. Right? They kept saying, basketball is a game of runs. Ours is coming. Chip away at the lead little by little. There was one game where they were down by double digits, and they zoomed in. Karl Anthony Towns was in the huddle, and he said, trust our defense, trust our defense, trust our defense. The offense will come. We've come back before, but trust the defense. Trust the defense, right? And they kept saying, trust each other. They said, trust yourselves. They kept repeating these same mantras as you listen to the players in their interviews over all of the games. They kept saying several things. Yep, every game is 0-0. Trust the defense. Chip away. We trust each other. Basketball is a game of runs. There were some things, some lines. You would wonder if the coaches gave them a piece of paper or a sheet of paper before the series and said, hey, these are your lines that you need to repeat, because they kept repeating them. They kept repeating them. And when you're under that type of pressure, you need something that is going to stand between you and collapse, right? For this team, those 5 sentences, trust each other, trust yourself, trust the defense, chip away. It's a game of runs. Those 5 sentences stood between them and collapse. So here's the question for you. When you're down in a deal, in a season, when you are in a hard conversation, what sentence is loud enough for you to hear? What sentence is the sentence that's loud enough for you to actually hear? Is it chip away little by little? Is it trust yourself? Or is it the old one, the why me, or the why? Is it the one that's been running on auto repeat since before you can remember? Right? Because here's the thing: chip away at the lead is not a basketball strategy. That's a sentence. That's a strategy for your life. When things get overwhelming for you, when it feels like everything is against you, when it's not going the way that you expected, what do you say? What do you say? Chip away at the lead little by little. As I thought about the title for today's episode, and we're getting low on time here. As I thought about the title for today's episode, I thought about calling it The Hidden Voice That Yells the Loudest. Because here's where a lot of people get this wrong, right? They treat their internal voice like background noise. Harmless, private. As long as I say the right things out loud, what I think to myself doesn't really matter. But here's the deal, fam. That voice, that internal voice, is not just narrating. It's directing. It's directing. Down 29 points. The Knicks didn't suddenly get more talented in the third quarter. They didn't just suddenly show up and say, "Oh my gosh, we're down. We have to play harder." But what changed for them, or what was present for them, was the sentence or the phrase that got the floor. And for a lot of us, when we get down, the sentence is, "Here we go again," or, "Oh, why am I dealing with this?" When instead it could be, "Mine is coming. My turn's coming. Just chip away. Mine's coming." Right? There's research in sports psychology that shows us, or that talks about this exact thing. The actual words that athletes repeat to themselves under pressure measurably show up in how they perform. And so that's why sometimes when you see athletes talking junk to one another, instead of wasting time talking junk to somebody else, what about what you're saying to yourself? The words that they repeat to themselves under pressure show up in how they perform. And it's not just think positive, it's specific, rehearsed language, which means the difference between a team that's down 29 and a team that's due for a run. The difference between those two teams isn't talent. It's which sentence gets rehearsed enough times that it shows up automatically when it counts, right? What comes out at showtime is what you rehearsed repeatedly. So what I think to myself doesn't matter as long as I say the right things out loud. That's an old belief. Your new belief today is the conversation that I have with myself sets the tone for every conversation I have with anyone else. Right? When I'm down, the gap feels so big. I start wondering why it happened to me. That's an old story. Here's a new story. I don't have to close the whole gap with one sentence. I just need to chip away and so that the next one will be true. Ooh, we're running out of time. Let's get to our actions for the week. So as you're thinking about what you want to, how you respond when the chips are down or when things don't work, I want you to identify what's on repeat, right? When your week is not going to go perfectly, but as you encounter those obstacles this week, I want you to notice the sentence that runs through your head. The moment that something goes wrong, a missed deal, a missed call or a lost deal, a tough room, I want you to notice the sentence and write it down. Don't just think about it, write it down. Write it down so you can identify it, you can see it, you can become aware of it. Okay? I want you to write it down. Number two, as you listen or as you see that sentence, I want you to ask where it came from, whose voice that actually is. Is it a coach from years ago? Is it a parent? Is it an old boss? Because here's what happens. Sometimes, and I'm a parent, and one of the things about being a parent is you have to be careful or watch your words because they say more is caught than taught. As a parent, the way that I respond to situations teaches my kids and actually plants seeds in their brains about how they will respond to some things. So as a parent, if I keep saying, "Oh my gosh, why is this happening to us? Why is this always happening? Why is this always happening?" You get on the road and somebody cuts you off. "Oh, they're a jerk." And we point at the person. People are learning from us. Not only are our kids learning from us, but we're repeating certain things in our own brains. And those are foundationalizing the story that we tell ourselves, that only bad things happen to us. We don't deserve good things. We're always being the one cut off. We're always being targeted. Where does that come from? Is it a coach? Is it a parent? Is it an old boss? Right? The old Knicks coach didn't trust his bench in the same way, so in some ways that became an underlying tension until someone else came and reshaped or took the good parts of that identity and added some stuff to it. Ask yourself that same question. What would need to be added onto your old voice in order for it to be the most effective voice that gets you to championship? Action number 3. We've got 3 minutes before our after show here. Create a swap. And energy, as a science teacher, energy is neither created nor destroyed. It simply swaps form, right? So for you, we try to willpower ourselves to stop thinking something or to stop doing something. But for every thought or action that you attempt to quit, something else takes its place, whether you admit it or not. So what if you were to control the swap? Whatever that sentence is that's on repeat when things go wrong, what if you were to write a replacement sentence? Something that's shorter, something that's truer, something that's yours. What if you were, instead of why me, it's chip away, little by little? That's a good starting point. You can create your own. But the next time that your old line shows up, say the new one out loud, not just in your head, out loud. It makes a difference. Out loud is what makes something a communication instead of just a thought. I want you to get that. When you say something out loud, it's a communication instead of just a thought. Listen, y'all, I hope that you got something good and great and grand from this session today. If something came up for you in the show today, I want you to join us for the after show. I want you to join us for the after show. Come on over, MiNDSHiFTMonday.com/Zoom and join us for the after show. Hey, y'all, listen, you don't need a louder voice this week. You need a truer one. You need a truer one. You need a voice that gets you to your expected or desired destination. And here's the thing about that voice. You don't have to let it be the voice that just comes automatically. You don't have to let it be the voice that is repeated based on something someone else implanted into you years ago. If you identify the source and you can identify the phrase, then you can flip it. You can change it. You can intentionally design it. And when you do that, it creates a transformational week. It creates a transformational space. It creates a new outlook for you. A shifted mind creates a changed week. Yeah, Aunt Doreen, good vibes. So good to see you. Hey, everybody. Listen, join us for the MiNDSHiFT Monday after show in just a minute here. MiNDSHiFTMonday.com/Zoom. Join us. Until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, keep shifting your mindset so that you can shift your life. Peace, family. Hey, hold on. Got to show you this one more time. Bam. Yes, yes, yes.